This is part of what chronic fatigue syndrome looks like. You have lots of circles around your eyes because no matter how much sleep you get, it is never enough. The extreme fatigue and exhaustion is really real. I'm out doing errands with my husband. How kind of me and how kind of him to say it that way, but he's doing everything. I'm sitting in the car like my dog in the back. She's got her head out the window getting fresh air, and I'm a little more dignified than that, so I'm not putting my head out the window. But yes, I got something like 11 hours of sleep last night. That doesn't fix the fatigue when it comes to chronic fatigue syndrome. Cheers and welcome to Michelle's Life on Repeat, where I am making a Pepsi float because I had no root beer in my house. But today I wanted to talk with you about chronic fatigue syndrome, or myalgic encephalomyelitis, something to that effect. It's a long name. I'll put it on the screen. And fibromyalgia, and what it feels like, and how I deal with it, and medicines, and physical therapy. So those are the things I'm going to talk about while I enjoy this root beer float, which is really a Pepsi float. You know, I appreciate you being here. If this is your first time, cheers and welcome to my channel, where I normally talk about orchids, but I also talk about my chronic illnesses. And I don't talk too frequently about my fibromyalgia and my chronic fatigue because they often take a second fiddle to chronic migraines, which seem to be dominating most of my life. But the funny thing about my body and the way it works is the two usually I say 90% of the time don't coincide at the same time. I am dealing with migraines, or I am dealing with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. Those two always go together, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. But the migraines, they don't always tie in with these two at the same time. So on one hand, I'm thankful and it is a blessing. On the other hand, I don't know what's on the other hand. But generally speaking, if I am dealing with a migraine, it is all about the migraine and not my body. My fibromyalgia stuff doesn't hurt as badly when the migraines are present. I don't know if it's because of the migraine pills that make everything else seem to be a little less, I don't know, or if the migraine just takes over the brain and all over the neurons and the nerve endings and says, I am the dominant force in this body today, and we go with it. But either way, I am thankful that I don't have all three of them all at the same time. I'm thankful, trying to find the positive when I can about all of this. But as you saw earlier, or as you will see in some of my clips in the car, we just got back from running errands. Running as in I sit in the passenger seat and husband runs in to that store and returns something, or husband runs over there and picks up the prescription, or, you know, I sit in the passenger seat and it's all I have to offer. And he said to me kindly today, I love sitting in the car with you and just driving. You know, he loves being with me even when I am just a blob on the seat. And that's what I feel like some days. And we always joke, it's like I can keep driving and we'll end up at the beach and we can go have lunch. Even the thought of driving to the ocean when you have chronic fatigue and you're only the passenger in the car is exhausting. So, myalgic encephalomyelitis, or something to that effect. And it's characterized by fatigue like major fatigue that been sleep deprived, you had to stay up for 30 hours or so and then you're just trying to function. It's kind of what it feels like. And it affects, obviously, my brain, the cognitive abilities, the executive function of things is affected. And it mimics and parallels fibromyalgia, where it affects your joints and your pains in your body. Here are some of the descriptions that are in some of the websites like cdc.gov and mayoclinic.com. People with ME/CFS are often not able to do their usual activities. At times they are confined to their bed. They have overwhelming fatigue that is not improved by rest. It can get worse after activities, which is either physical activity or a mental activity. This symptom is known as post-exertional malaise. Other symptoms can include poor sleep, thinking and concentrating, pain and dizziness. People with ME/CFS may not look ill, however, but they have a list of things that show up, and I'll put some up here on the screen here. I'm looking down now, but I'll put some up on the screen. People with chronic fatigue syndrome are not able to function the same way they did before they became ill. Their ability to do tasks like taking a shower or preparing a meal are often shortened. Their ability to do those things, or they have to take lots of breaks in between. When I personally clean my bathroom, which has, the sink, the counter, a shower, and the toilet, I cannot do all three things at once or at one setting. So I will often scrub the bathtub, shower, walls one day. And then that is it for my chore for the day. And then I must rest in my bed because the arm movements for me are horrendously discomforting. And then the next day I can do the toilet and the floor in the bathroom, and then maybe the next day I can do the counters, but I have to break it up in order to get it all accomplished, or I feel it in my body afterwards. But it comes in spurts, it comes in waves, and then you have like a regression where it kind of disappears and you have energy. And you've seen those videos I've made of me cooking 3 or 4 different things all at once in the kitchen, power cleaning my house and all of that stuff. That is what happens when I'm not in a flare-up. But ebbs and flows, you don't know when they'll come, but you can predict sometimes if there's a lot of stress, environmental change, or things like that. You can kind of predict and know that you are going to be having a flare-up. But when you have the flare-up, you just go from 99% down on your battery charger to about 10 to 12%, and you must use that percentage wisely or you are down to 0 and you just lay in bed and think. Because when you lay in bed to fall asleep, you often do not fall asleep. Your brain somehow fights you out. No matter how tired you are, your brain will fight you. Example, last night I went to bed at 6:30. At 6 I was looking at the clock going, is it time yet? Can I go to bed? And by 6:30 I was in bed, but my brain would not stop thinking. So it took, another hour before it actually fell asleep. And I got myself 11 hours of sleep last night. And the good old watch told me that I had a wonderful, marvelous 42% on my sleep record, which is terrible because I never got into deep sleep in the whole 11 hours of me sleeping. Crazy. It makes it hard for us to do a job or even continue on with schooling if you were trying to deal with college or even finish high school. For some of us, it starts when we are younger. It is very, very hard to have a social life. Yeah, social life. I do not know what that is. You and me on this is my social life. Welcome to the social atmosphere of Michelle. It can lead, after years of dealing with this, to serious disabilities. At least 1 in 4 chronic fatigue patients are bed or housebound for long periods during their illness. There's so much to read up on the internet about what you can expect, and if this is your first time hearing about chronic fatigue or ME, there's a lot to learn. But if you are searching this internet and on YouTube because you know you have it, you understand all this. I'm not telling you anything new, but what I am offering you is companionship and letting you know I walk this walk with you. And some days it's all about the bed and the audiobooks and resting. And other days it's about getting up and doing what you can do for the moment, for that day, one breath, one prayer, one baby step at a time. And I thank you for taking these little baby steps with me as I journey into the YouTube world. I presently have the bulk of my physical pain in my shoulder area and forearms and the back of my shoulders. The one is that I do have arthritis in the back here and in the clavicle shoulder joints. So I am waiting on a procedure called what's it called again? Brain fog. It's a major component of migraines, chronic fatigue, and fibromyalgia, brain fog. The procedure is going to be an ablation of the nerves that go from the C2 and C3 vertebrae up into my brain. The idea is that it will lessen my migraines and also lessen the pain through the back of the neck. That procedure has been put on hold while husband's working on a ladder right outside the window. I better hurry. It's a procedure that is meant to, I don't know if we can compete with that noise. Yeah. The procedure was put on hold due to COVID and the hospital shutting down elective surgeries. So that has postponed that procedure that I was so looking forward to for helping of pain relief. But I have also been treating these shoulders with prednisone tablets, prednisone injection, cortisone injections, and physical therapy. I have these whole muscles have tightened like rocks under the top and the sides, even underneath, and my physical therapist literally has to get in there and manipulate, work hard, scrape. She uses those scraping tools. She uses the cupping tools to try to loosen the fibers that are going this way and that way. I guess muscle fibers are layers upon layers, and mine are just locked, frozen like a cement block. And so she has been trying to work them out. I literally have bruises as if I was abused, but no, she's like twisting and pinching and pressing and pulling, and she says, say uncle, when it hurts enough I'll let go. And I'm like, uncle. So I got more range out of doing physical therapy. So I encourage you, if you have not been to physical therapy, to see if it will help on any of your fibromyalgia, your stiff muscles, because chronic fatigue will also tighten your muscles, your joints, your ligaments, not necessarily arthritis alone. So if you are in a lot of physical pain and you have not tried physical therapy, I would encourage you to work with your doctor and your rheumatologist to get into physical therapy. It is a passive physical therapy that I do because my body cannot do the active physical therapy. So she is doing all of the manipulating, the pushing, the pulling, the prodding. I do stretches on the wall. That's about as physical as I get. In a band, I stretch with the band. But I encourage you to get in and get your body worked on. If you have a part of you that has not been fully extendable for a while or fully usable like you know it should be, go in and get some physical therapy and see if that will help. The other thing that we are doing is I am on a medicine that's been approved for fibromyalgia called Savella, and we have always just done the lowest kind of dosing, and we have been increasing it to see if it will take this pain down. I did do a couple rounds of prednisone over the last couple of months, and that makes everything feel so much better, and I have so much freedom. I'm so awake, I'm so alive, I feel like myself. But I am off of that now, and the crashing down, the fatigue, the real me is showing its ugly face, if you know what I'm talking about. We have moved on to the Savella. I'm increasing that in dosage to see if we can tackle more of the pain with that. And the other component is they are starting me on a new one for me called naltrexone. Naltrexone, low dose naltrexone, I think is what it's called, and it was originally designed for people coming off of alcohol addictions, and they found that people were saying that their pain in their body was less. So it has been approved for chronic fatigue syndrome. Resting and taking care of yourself is a very valuable thing. So don't underrate yourself. If that is all you can do today is take your shower and rest, then God bless you, you rest. And until we talk again, I wish you peace and blessings, and I will make more videos as I have the energy to do that. And until we talk again, bye-bye.